following is a presentation of the Retro Network.
Hey there, podcast listeners. Welcome back. Episode 45 of the Retro Resurgence coming at you after our annual summer break, marching ourselves toward our milestone 50th episode of the podcast. Hopefully you listeners are enjoying these last few weeks of summer. School's back in session in some parts of the country, and we're still experiencing a heat wave in many regions around the country. And we're glad that you chose to press play here on this episode. My name is Chad, and joining me, as usual, I don't know how many degrees of separation are between he and I, but I know it's roughly 997 miles. It's my podcasting partner, Ken. Ken, welcome back, man.
Chad, yeah, welcome back. We are back from our summer break. I'm excited for this episode. And yeah, how you been doing?
Good, man. I've enjoyed a long, hot summer. I didn't really go anywhere. Haven't really gone anywhere. We're usually traveling in the fall when the weather's cooler and stuff. But, you know, with a 4-year-old, we've been finding our share of neighborhood pools, some little local water parks, and even just sprinklers and splash pads is what we have around here. So trying to keep cool and keep her entertained. We got one more year before she's in kindergarten, so you remember those days very well.
Oh yeah, I remember those. Sometimes it seems like it's a long ways away, and sometimes it just seems like it was just yesterday. But yeah, I remember those days a lot, man.
Yeah, just today, me and her took her to an indoor playground. You know, they've got slides and things to climb, and you know, it was a good way for her to burn some energy and
Right.
Kill a couple hours in the air condition while
Yeah.
my wife was doing some errands. But how about you, man? How's your summer been?
Yeah, not too bad. Like you, I've pretty much just been staying at home. I do have a little road trip planned for next week. Me and a couple of my kids are going to go visit my son that's in the Coast Guard in Cleveland. So we're going to take a couple-day road trip. But yeah, other than that, you know, we've hit the local pool a couple times, gone to a church carnival, and you know, I've had we were in a drought up here. It's been pretty hot and humid. We were in a drought, but then over the last few weeks, we've had a couple days where we've had like torrential rain, like downpours, and I've had water get into my basement a couple times, and you know, dealing with that, cleaning it up. But luckily, all of my stuff, my toys, my collections, my arcade one-up came out unscathed, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, man. If it ain't one thing, it's another, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, glad you're okay and your collectibles and belongings are okay.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, man, we've as we record this, we are in preseason, week number 1 of the preseason. I know that excites you like it excites me, man. That means fall, cooler weather, and football season is upon us.
Yeah, football's coming soon. We just had the Hall of Fame game, and yeah, man, we're getting ready for that too.
Yeah, we actually if as of this recording, it's a preseason game, so it's not like we're gonna have the top stars, but my Steelers are playing your Packers week number one.
That's right. Yeah, that's coming up this Saturday, I think
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, okay.
No, it's actually as this episode drops, it would have been the night before.
Oh,
So
okay. As the episode drops, yeah, well, yeah, you guys got our old coach and our old quarterback going up
you're
against.
yeah, your retreads, man.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully we can get one more year of magic with Rodgers and McCarthy, man. I was a big
Yeah,
fan of Tomlin, and but
yeah,
we just kept we would get into the playoffs, we'd by the skin of our teeth, and then we'd one and done. So
right.
it was time for a change, and but yeah, hopefully McCarthy can. He's gonna need a. He's I mean, if it ain't with Rodgers this year, he's gonna need a
Yeah,
quarterback. Is he on the roster? We shall see. But this is going to be Rodgers' swan song this year, so who knows? Maybe things can happen. I don't know.
yeah. And I'm calling for our Packers, my Packers this year. If we make the playoffs and have another one and done out of the playoffs, man, I'm calling for him to be gone, man. Matt LaFleur, you're
There
out
you
of here
go.
if you don't do something this year.
Yeah, man. Well, listeners, we hope you are having a fantastic summer. We know we've got some listeners out there, and Ken, we were just talking off air, man. We usually it's been about at least a month and a half
Yeah.
since we last recorded episode 44. We did sneak in a bonus episode. Listeners, if you see it there in the feed, it's just a bonus episode, not an actual episode number, but it was our ABC show of board games, and that was with our buddy, our loyal listener, Gerospace.
Yeah.
And a little related news: just yesterday, I found on the Shop Goodwill website, which is a nice little website. A lot of people probably know it by now, especially toy collectors and stuff. But they can get you got some good deals, but you pay a lot, an arm and a leg for shipping. I found a vintage 1982 Pac-Man board game.
Oh, you
Um,
found one, huh?
yeah, and it had all looked complete, and it is complete. And, the board was, as to be expected with a 40-year-old cardboard board game package. But
Right.
I ended up winning it for like $10, and I guess nobody bidded on it. But then it was like $20 or $25 worth of shipping. So it actually arrived yesterday, and you can't
Nice.
see it on the screen here, but it's on my shelf. And yeah, man, I was thinking, man, I need to kind of bust this out and actually play it.
Yeah.
I know Gerospace is listening, and was that his pick? One of his picks?
I believe that was his pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was inspired, man, and saw the cool, and you just gotta love, Pac-Man. I mean, what a
Yeah.
emblem of the '80s, you know.
Well, Chad, since you brought that up, I also found an old game at Goodwill at the store for $15. Now, I don't know if it was an original 1978 because it had the year 1978 and then 1985. So, I mean, you're still talking 40 years old. I think it was probably a reissue, but I found at least a 1985 version of Hungry Hungry Hippos.
Nice.
Yeah, I was stoked when I saw that, and it was only $15, and it looked in pretty good shape. I don't think it had all the marbles, but it had enough where you could play a game. So yeah, I found that, and I was pretty happy to find that one.
Yeah, I mean that was just white marbles, so man,
Yeah,
you could pick those up on Amazon and refill your collection if you had to, if you really wanted to
yeah,
play, of course. Yeah, I think I had that 1985 version when me and
okay,
my sister were growing up, and
yeah. I mean, it
yeah,
looks just like the 1978 version, so yeah, it's
yeah,
pretty sweet. But
yeah,
whoever had it put the eyeball stickers on the nostrils of the hippos instead of where the eyes were supposed to go. So I'm trying to delicately peel them off and put them where they're supposed to go.
yeah, yeah. You want it true to scale, right? You want the eyes to
Yeah,
be where the
man, come
eyes should
on.
be.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that'll look good down there in your man cave, your basement there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, we were all loving us some board games, but let's get to feedback if we can recall way back, I think in June.
Yeah,
Well, it was first part of July when it was released, but we had our
yeah,
buddy Old School Tim host our first ever Friday night trivia.
right.
You came out on top. You,
Oh,
you squeaked one
barely.
out. Yeah, man. I still can't, that dang Anwar Sadat answer that you pulled out of thin air just
Yeah,
ended
I
up
don't
to
know,
be my
dude.
demise.
Yeah.
But yeah, we thank Tim for hosting, and we'll definitely bring him back. But
Oh yeah.
regarding that episode, episode 44, our buddy Jim from the Busy Signal, happy fourth, dudes. Fun episode. I knew a healthy amount of that trivia. Proud that I knew what ALF stood for. Happy summer, homies. And so that was that. And then we also had our loyal listener, Space, comment on the Friday night trivia. He just says, I absolutely love Friday night trivia. Great close game, guys.
Yeah.
So that was for episode 44. A fun episode that kicked us into our summer break. And here we are, Ken, episode 45, marching to 50, man.
Yeah. 50, man, only 5 episodes away. I can't believe it.
Yeah, and listeners, I talked to Ken throughout the weeks here, and the last month we were off, and we're so excited. This second half of the Retro Surgeons, I think, is going to be our best, man.
I think it's going to be really good. We got a lot of good stuff lined up.
Yeah, we got some new ideas. We got some ideas we'll probably rehash. We've got some great topics. All we need now is listenership, and my plea every episode that we try to get on here. If you're listening to us for the first time, please subscribe to the podcast. Please like us. Please shoot us a comment, mainly over on Instagram. But also check out the retroresurgence.com. We update our website, and but we're most active out there on Instagram, and you'll see
Right.
us. Ken, let's talk about what we've been doing. You kind of hit a home run with your Fight Night series. Every day, man, you're putting out these great head-to-head matchups. I think this morning, as we were recording this, you had the matchups of the wrestling announcers. You had Heenan and
Oh,
Monsoon versus JR and the King.
yeah.
But tell us a little bit more about the Fight Night, man.
Yeah, so basically what it is, I kind of got the itch for the AI when you came up with the idea for our yesterday reimagined. So then, we've been delving into the world of AI and I've been, kind of getting a lot better at it. And so what the fight nights are is I've created through AI like, you would see fight night posters back in the day. A poster, this boxer versus this boxer.
Yep.
Well, what I'm doing with that is taking retro pop culture, whether it be movies, music, cartoons, TV, sports, food, drinks, anything you could think of that's retro, and making it into like fight night posters, and then putting it up on our Instagram and putting up a little poll and seeing, which thing would come out on top. So, yeah, it's been really fun. I still have tons of them to do, and yeah, man, I like doing them, and I think they're pretty fun. The artwork looks good, and yeah, it's a pretty fun idea.
Yeah, the artwork is great, man. And dude, man, you're not there's no limit to what you're putting head to head. I mean,
No,
even as we were heading into our July 4th holiday, you
yeah,
had landmarks going head to head.
yep.
Things like the Statue of Liberty versus what was
The St. Louis gate, the Gateway
Gateway, the
Arch. Yeah,
Arch. Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah,
had the
I mean,
Grand Canyon versus Mount Rushmore, things
yeah,
like
you
that. Yeah,
you had the Golden Gate Bridge versus the Brooklyn Bridge.
right.
And then one thing that I loved, I even loved the artwork was this might be my favorite one. It was, I think it might have been on July 4th. You had you called it the Heartland Showdown, or AI called it the Heartland Showdown,
Right.
and it was the boss Bruce Springsteen versus John Cougar Mellencamp.
Oh, it was
You know,
great. Yeah,
both of course iconic for their patriotic songs.
yeah,
And dude, man, yeah, it's got that classic fight night, classic boxing wrestling poster style. You got
yeah.
some of them have the tail of the tape, so you got the stats that kind of. Anyway, man, I listen. We talk all the time, but it's a great concept, and it's to me using that AI that we like to dabble with over on Yesterday Reimagined, and
Right.
just taking thinking and putting it out a visual spin there, and I love it,
Yeah.
man. You great job.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's fun to do, and yeah, I've got a lot more coming.
Yeah, and in kind of inspired by you, I started on August 1st. I started a little series. I'm gonna keep it going through the end of August. It's called Scenes from Yesteryear. And during our summer break, I decided to think about things, actions, processes, things that we don't do anymore. I mean, things like going to the video rental store,
Yeah.
looking up movie times in the newspaper.
In the newspaper. Yeah.
Yeah, it's blowing the NES cartridge to try to get it to work.
Yeah.
So every day I'm putting out a different scene, of course, generated by AI. And I've got a little write up there about a description of little. Sometimes I'll share a memory of what that means to me, but it's over there on our Instagram page, Scenes from Yesteryear. That'll be me. Ken is the Fight Night guy. And just go check us out over there on Instagram. Give us a like, give us a follow, and really, more importantly, just interact with us. We do have
Yeah.
quite a bit of few people that we do interact. Some other, we have some other fellow podcasters that do kind of similar things in the realm that we do, and
Right.
we like to sort of you know kind of support each other. So we thank those other retro podcasters that may check out our show as well.
Yeah, thank you. And Chad, before we move on, I do want to tell you the song choices that you've picked out so far for each of those scenes from yesteryear are spot on.
My favorite was, and it just came to me when before I posted, it was the restaurant smoking or non-smoking.
I knew
And
you were
then
going to say that
I,
one.
I chose Leonard Skinner's That Smell.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, man. And then I think another one I was talking about, one of the scenes was the disconnected from the dial-up internet. And
Yeah,
there's a song called Connected,
right.
which is like a 1990s early rap R&B, and it fit the theme very well. So,
It did. Yeah.
so yeah, thank you. But hey, let's get to some business, man. We hadn't done reoccurring events in a while, so let's get to some reoccurring events, shall we?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, Ken. Well, we are back here, episode 45, and we've got a couple recurrent events to throw at the listeners. So, Ken, why don't you start off with telling us what kind of retro pop culture news do you want to talk about tonight?
Yeah, Chad, my little piece of news here tonight, kind of a little somber piece of news, but I was looking for something for the episode before we recorded today, and this came across my MSN news feed, and legendary basketball coach Don Nelson passed away actually today, August 8th, 2026. Before he coached, he was a player. He briefly played with the Chicago Zephyrs and the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, the Zephyrs, that must have been before they became the Bulls. But of course, Don Nelson, he's most noted for playing 11 years for the Boston Celtics, in which he won 5 NBA championships and had his number 19 jersey retired. Now, I did not know that about him, that he played for that long and won 5 championships. Did you?
No, I mean, I know a lot of those coaches got their start as players, but
Yeah,
yeah, my knowledge of them comes like you probably mainly as in the coaching realm.
right. And then a year after he retired from playing, he worked as an assistant coach for my Milwaukee Bucks. And but just 18 games into that first season, he was promoted to head coach. And then a year later, he took on double duty as both coach and general manager, which he held both of those roles for more than a decade.
Yeah.
Not yeah, that's where I remember him most from, his coach in the Bucks. And I mean, he was a pretty good coach. We weren't championship worthy in the '80s there, but they had some pretty decent teams over those years.
Yeah, the Sidney Moncrief and
Oh,
yeah,
Paul Pressey, yeah.
Alvin Robertson.
Alvin Robertson, yeah.
Yeah. They
Uh,
couldn't get over the hump though. The
no.
Celtics were too good.
Yeah, and then Jordan came along for the
Yeah.
Bulls in
The
the mid 80s
Pistons.
there.
Yep.
Yeah, we could never beat them.
Yeah.
But then after resigning from the Bucks in 1988, he moved to the Golden State Warriors for 6 seasons, and he formed the famous. Now I don't know if you remember this Run TMC.
Of course.
Tim
Yeah.
Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and Chris Mullen.
Yeah, they had a run and gun style offense,
Yeah,
very flashy, and team didn't stick around too long because they kind of broke the team up in the
right.
early 90s. But yeah, definitely a famous trio there in Golden State.
Yeah, and that was around 1995. And then after that, he had a brief stint coaching the New York Knicks. And then he was the coach of the Dallas Mavericks for 8 seasons. And then he returned to the Golden State Warriors in '06 and '07. And then he continued coaching the Warriors through '09 through the 2010 season, which was Steph Curry's rookie year. And it was reported that Nelson was one of the strongest voices advocating for the Warriors to draft Curry. So that was a good move on his part, I think.
Yeah, I'd say the least.
Yeah. And then that was his final year in the NBA 2010, which he retired to Maui, where he was known for his celebrity filled poker games and his marijuana farm.
Uh, yeah, that is, and also you got to add in there in his later life. Yeah, he was very advocate of. He was very open about his marijuana use. He also was kind of had a. He would wear a chain, like a silver chain around his neck. I mean, you see somebody in their 80s with
Yeah.
some. I guess the kids call it drip, Ken. You know.
Yeah. Drip, man. And then just to end it here, he was inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame in 2012. He finished his playing career with 10,898 points, 5 championship rings, and his coaching career record was 1,335 wins, 1,063 losses, 18 playoff appearances, and 3 Coach of the Year honors. So, yeah, that's my little recurrent event. Don Nelson passed away this morning, I believe. It doesn't say his age. Oh, 86, at the age of
Yeah.
86. So, yeah, we just want to say rest in peace to Don Nelson. And that's my little recurrent event for this episode.
You know, Ken, I'm a big NBA nut. Back
Oh,
especially
yeah.
especially in those 90s and 2000s, and a couple things I want to mention. Yeah, sad to hear him pass. He was the second winningest coach of all time, only to be surpassed later in the 2000s by Greg Popovich.
Yeah. Okay.
So Greg is the leading, but Don Nelson's second. So that's amazing.
It is.
Surprisingly, he could never get his teams to the finals, which
Yeah.
I think is a blemish on his career. He was a hell of a coach and he had some great teams, but he never could get into the finals. But I thought that was, I
Yeah.
mean, it's all about timing and and in the when he was with the Mavs in those early, he was credited, kind of those early Dallas Mavs teams, Dirk Nowitzki,
Yeah.
kind of brought him in, and he was also known. He didn't just coach the team; he wanted to be the GM as well. So, yeah, I guess that started in Milwaukee,
Yeah.
and even in Dallas and these other stops, he wanted control. And I guess there's a famous quote by Bill Parcells. He was talking about whether it be the coach or the GM, and I think he said something like, "If they want you to cook the dinner, at least they ought to let you shop for the groceries." And
Yeah.
Don Nelson was definitely that. I mean, he
Yeah.
was very instrumental, and he had some great teams, some great picks. But two more things. One, there was this funny story, and I read the article on the ESPN today of his passing. In the When he was coaching the Milwaukee Bucks, there was an article in a newspaper, showed a newspaper clipping. The NBA, these kind of started with Jordan, and it was before Jordan. It was even Dr. J and Larry and Michael, but these shoe companies wanted to put their shoes on these athletes and let these athletes market these shoes. So
Right.
there's a very famous photo of Don Nelson in a suit with a jacket and slacks, but he's also wearing a pair of Converses. And it's a very odd look, but the NBA was threatening to fine him. It was definitely something that's kind of stood out. And, they wanted a coach to look like a coach. Nowadays, I don't know, we don't talk about this, but the coaches now, they look almost like teenage players,
Oh
they're,
yeah.
they're wearing hoodies and sweatpants. And, my famous one is always the guy that used to coach the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel.
Oh gosh, yeah.
This guy, like he just like he's in like a teenager in high school. Coaches used to be dapper, and some of them used to wear the
Oh,
nice,
suits.
yeah. You think about Pat Riley, the
Yeah.
Armani suits, and
Yeah.
other styles. But yeah, he was famously the NBA was gonna fine him because he was trying to wear Converse sneakers on the side, on the court, there coaching. And I don't think they ever fined him, but he said, well, if the players can wear them, why can't the coaches? So he definitely seemed to march to a beat of his own drum.
Yeah, for sure.
Long legacy here in the NBA. So yeah, rest in peace to Don Nelson.
Yeah.
Well, Ken, I want to go to my recurrent event. And, I know we're only an audio podcast, but on some of the graphics that we put out there on social media, you may see me wearing a ball cap like I am today with an emblem. And maybe people aren't quite sure what that emblem means. So my recurrent event is related to the Savannah Bananas, a traveling baseball team that's been touring the country for about 3 or 4 years now, playing exhibition baseball games. The team is mainly known for their theatrics more so than their competitiveness. Think Harlem Globetrotters of the modern time,
I was just gonna say that they're like a Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
Yeah, man, it's about show and theater and fun, and that's what the Savannah Bananas are all about. I had the opportunity to see them in their home stadium in Savannah, which for me is about a 2.5 hour drive down to Georgia from where I live. And pretty recently, they've been the hottest ticket in town. I mean, they've been selling out football stadiums and baseball stadiums all over the
Yeah.
country. So, but my recurrent event happened a few weekends ago. They stopped by not too far from you, Ken, Chicago, famous Wrigley Field,
Mm.
for a few games. And in one of the games, actor Thomas Ian Nicholas was in town. Nicholas, you might remember, was a child actor of the 90s, and he starred in the early 90s family film Rookie of the Year.
Ah.
Do you remember that movie?
Oh, yeah, I love that movie. It's almost kind of to me that movie and The Sandlot kind of are neck and neck for
Yeah,
child
yeah.
baseball sports movies. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could throw in maybe Angels in the Outfield, and
Yeah, sure.
maybe that one for kids. And then of course you had like some maybe for adult like Major League,
Oh,
you know. But there was no shortage of baseball movies, right?
right.
But but yeah, Rookie of the Year is one of my favorite movies. I'll always, when it's on TV, if it's airing, I'll always stop whatever part of the movie and watch it. But he was the star of that movie, and in that movie, the premise, if you haven't seen it, is that Nicholas, who plays Henry Rowan Gardner, breaks his arm playing Little League, and during the healing process of his arm, he develops a major league fastball that catches the eye of his hometown Chicago Cubs. The team then signs the kid, and the Cubs go on to have an amazing season and eventually win the World Series. But with the help of a little editing on social media, the team recreated the famous scene where Nicholas catches a fly ball and throws it back into the field of play, where the team, which are just the banana players pretending to be the Cubs players in the movie, are in shock as to what they just saw. I thought it was a pretty fun, nostalgic trip if you're a fan of the movie. And they also recreated the bit in the movie where Henry is talking to his mom, who's out in the stands, and he realizes that she was the one who owned his baseball glove. He thought it was his dad, and the whole time it was her. She was the
Yeah.
baseball player. and they recreate the famous floater pitch scene, shot for shot with the Bananas player. Again, I thought it was a pretty cool bit of nostalgia that was worth mentioning. I'll throw those links to those videos into our show notes, but
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, not nothing really newsworthy. It was just sort of a fun little recreation of a '90s property, Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but if, yeah, link them into our show notes, and yeah, I'll go check that out too, because yeah, I definitely remember that part of the movie.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Well, I thought, one little opposite there, one somber and one kind of jovial, but,
Sure.
hey, man, that's what you get here with us here in the recurrent events. So, good stuff.
Yeah.
The decade of decadence, the 1980s, is primed and ready for you to rediscover in podcast form. Celebrating the pop culture that made us, the Rediscover the 80s podcast has several unique shows that explore our favorite decade. Our lineup includes Memory Jogger podcasts, Rank 'em, and various interviews to whet your appetite. Listen to the Rediscover the 80s podcast in your favorite listening apps. The Rediscover the 80s podcast, helping you reconnect with your favorite pop culture from the 1980s.
All right, Chad, we're back here again, episode 45 of the Retro Resurgence podcast. We are back from our summer break, and it is time to get to our main topic of the show, which was your choice this time around. So, what do you got for us this time?
Well, Ken, that spreadsheet we have in Google Drive is it's quite plentiful. Lots of stuff you and I have both added. Some of it we've even forgot that we added it. It's been there
Yeah,
so long. But this one, I kind of earlier this year when we were planning out our year, I kind of threw this in there. Kind of didn't think much about it. But we're gonna use another Mount Rushmore show to talk about the filmography of Mr. Kevin Bacon.
yeah. I
Now,
like Kevin Bacon.
yeah, man, somebody who I don't hear a lot of podcasts talk about him. I'm sure there's lots of movie podcasts out there on the internet, and I'm sure somebody has picked Kevin Bacon, but
Sure.
somebody who, Ken, you're born in the 70s and I was born a little bit later in the 80s, but Kevin Bacon has had a long career, and it's kind of sneaky because
Yeah,
his first film was in 1978. You were just a little bit, 4 or 5 years old, maybe.
4 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, and he got his start as a small background role in National Lampoon's Animal House.
Ah, okay. Yeah, now that you say that. Yeah,
Yeah, and that, of course, that came out in 78, and you think 78 to now 2026. I mean, that's a long career, and so he's kind of in our wheelhouse in terms of when he became an actor, and
right.
he's lasted as long, he's had a long career.
Almost
Um,
50 years. Yeah.
yeah. Um, but Kevin Bacon, born July 8th, 1958 in Philadelphia. So he's, in his mid 60s, looks pretty good for his age, I
Still
think.
look, yeah, he still looks
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Time has been kind to him. Um,
Right.
but he's been a star of the big and small screen. He's also a musician. And if you follow him and his wife on Instagram, they're actually farmers. Um,
Oh, okay.
he's very once famously sang and played guitar with his goats out there on the farm. Um, and he is a very quite accomplished musician. A lot of people may not know about that, but he's started a band in 1995 with his brother, and they're called the Bacon Brothers.
Okay.
And he's with his brother Michael. Kevin does lead vocal, guitar, harmonica, and percussion. So, very talented and just a very, storied career, one that, has no signs of slowing down. It seems like, but I figured what we do for today, we're gonna talk and just kind of put four of his films on the Mount Rushmore. Folks that have listened to us before know our Rushmore shows require us to come to an agreement on all four.
Yes.
And as per the norm, me and you don't know each other's picks,
Right.
so we'll pick them here live on the air. But like I said, just a couple trivia things before we get going with our picks.
Yeah.
His first movie was in 1978, Animal House. And then after that, from 80 to 81, he played Tim Warner on the CBS soap opera Guiding Light. So,
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
yeah. So, and then he had a small role in Friday the 13th, cult classic there in the 80s.
Yeah, the very first one. Yeah.
Yeah. And then over 80 films and 110 film and television credits has made Bacon one of Hollywood's most reliable and trusted actors of the modern time. He has won Golden Globe and two Screen Actor Guilds awards. Sadly, never has been nominated for an Academy,
Oh,
which
okay.
was kind of surprising, but
Yeah.
it makes sense because, I don't think he's at the level of Cruise and Hanks and DiCaprio and, what we consider these top tier actors.
Yeah.
I feel like he's sort of a notch or two below, but still, somebody who's well respected, I think. He's had a long marriage to actress Kyra Sedgwick in
Yeah.
19 so they married in 1988. He's got two children. And, famously, I started off the show with a little reference to this, but, there was this thing in the mid 90s that any two actors could be linked to Kevin Bacon
Yeah.
um, within six roles. So there was this game, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon,
Yeah.
which kind of actually spun off. If you go to 6degrees.org, it's actually Kevin Bacon's charity that he started based
Mm.
off of the popular funny meme about 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, where he does charitable work for folks. So anyway, man, I just somebody who's I think has a cool career and
Yeah.
never heard about anything negative in terms of getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Him and his wife did get caught up in a Ponzi scheme back in the early 2000s. I can't remember who it was. It was a kind of a famous thing, but they kind of lost
Mm.
money there. But yeah, I figure what we'll do, Ken, to get this thing started off is I'm gonna let you choose your first selection on Rushmore, and
Okay.
we'll see if I agree, and we'll go back and forth until we have four. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good. Now, as always, Chad, I like to predict how many I think we're gonna match on. And for this one, I think we're only gonna match on one.
Okay.
So we might have a little more of a debate show going on here tonight.
All right, man.
All
Let's
right.
uh let's have it. What's your
Well,
first choice there up on Rushmore?
my first pick, I'm just gonna get it out of the way, and this is the one that I think that we're gonna match on. And this is, I think his breakout role is what got him into stardom, and it is 1984 Footloose.
Yeah, it's on the Rushmore. I don't
Yeah,
think you can have a show about this topic without that being number one.
right.
Give us a little history and trivia on Footloose there.
Yeah, so came out 1984, like I said. It's got a Rotten Tomato critic score of 55% and a fan popcorn meter score of 71%. So I just watched this movie a couple nights ago just to kind of refresh and things like that. I haven't seen the movie in a long time, but watching it this time around is an older guy. The premise of this movie is kind of absurd and kind of dumb, but so here we go, the little synopsis. Moving in from Chicago, newcomer Ren McCormack, played by Bacon, is in shock when he discovers the small Midwestern town he now calls home has made dancing and rock music illegal. As he struggles to fit in, Ren faces an uphill battle to change things. With the help of his new friend Willard, Christopher Penn, and defiant teen Ariel Moore, Laurie Singer, he might loosen up this conservative town. But Ariel's influential father, Reverend Shaw Moore, played by John Lithgow, stands in the way. So Yeah, as I'm watching it, it's like, okay, this town is making music and dancing illegal, and yeah, it's kind of weird and kind of
Yeah.
absurd, but hey, man, I think that's what got Kevin Bacon out there, so it's got to go on the Rushmore, I think.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Any show without this on the Rushmore is null and void in my opinion. Now I got a confession. I know what Footloose is about. I know it has, the town is banned, the dancing and all that.
Yeah.
And but I have never seen this movie from start to finish. Um,
Okay.
Now, when it comes to 80s dancing flicks, when I was growing up, somehow I just ended up picking Dirty Dancing as the one that I watched and not Footloose. I know they're not exactly the same, but to me, the you had two stars, you had the music, the
Oh
dancing,
yeah.
and you had the biggest thing for me with the Footloose and Dirty Dancing was the soundtrack. And
Yeah, yeah.
that music, the Footloose, Kenny Loggins, man, that could be on a Mount Rushmore of songs from movies, you know?
Sure. And this is, I think, one of those where I think the soundtrack is better than the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
So,
other songs are on there? Do you know? Is it
well, of course,
is
we
it
got Footloose from Kenny Loggins. We got
is it hear it from Let's Hear It for the Boy?
Let's Hear It for the Boy is on it. Holding Out for a Hero by Bonnie Tyler is on the soundtrack. And then I think Kenny Loggins does have another song
Yeah.
on here. I think it's called I'm Free or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a few other songs on here that are pretty good.
Man, if you've been to any wedding in the last 20, 30 years, you probably
Yeah.
have heard Footloose. A funny story, I actually went to my wife's cousin's wedding probably about 10 years ago, and the DJ busted out with Footloose. And not only did he bust out with it, but he was up front teaching people the dance during the
Yeah.
reception. So yeah, it's very popular at parties and weddings and
Yeah.
social events and stuff. It's a great song.
Right.
I love that song, man. It's so
Yeah.
iconic. Kenny Loggins was just like if you needed a
Oh,
big
he was
movie, yeah,
yeah.
you needed Kenny, man.
Yeah, he was the king of the soundtrack songs back in the day.
Yeah, it was whether it was Caddyshack, Top Gun. I mean,
Caddyshack, Top Gun, this Over the Top. He had a song in that movie.
yeah.
Yeah. Now this movie was remade in 2011, and Blake Shelton was the artist who covered Footloose on that for that movie. But yeah, I don't think that movie did so well.
I think that was hot garbage.
Yeah,
I remember.
I never saw it, but yeah.
Yeah, it starred the gal who was from Dancing with the Stars. She was in it. Um, Juliana
Okay.
Huff, and yeah, man, it was. I think it's a well known as a terrible remake. But
Yeah,
yeah,
for
man,
sure.
coming from somebody who hasn't seen it, I knew right away Footloose was going to be top supremo number
Yeah.
one choice there. So
I would just tell you, if you haven't seen it all the way through, just go ahead and watch it once. If you just see it once in your life, I think you're
yeah,
you're all right. But yeah.
cool, man. Well, good pick. We agree. Number one.
Okay.
Now,
Yep.
you think that's the only one we're going to agree on, huh?
I think that's it, man.
All
Because
right.
I don't know, the ones I came up with, I think. Now that I'll be honest, this one was kind of hard for me to pick movies that he was the lead in, because he was in so many other good movies back in the day, but he wasn't the lead.
Yeah.
So they were more like ensemble casts and stuff. So it was a little hard for me to come up with these ones that he was actually like the lead character in.
Yeah, you're right, and we'll talk about that as the show progresses. But
Okay.
yeah, that's why I kind of when I said he's not Cruise, he's not Hanks. These guys when they hit their big, they were the top star of every film. Bacon is almost kind of more a second or third actor listed on the credits
Yeah.
and in most of his films than he is the lead guy. So yeah, that's very interesting, and that's really why I picked him as to kind of to kind of
Yeah.
kind of do a retrospective of his career because he's despite him not truly being the guy in most cases, he
Yeah.
still has had a heck of a career. Well, let me give you my second pick.
Okay.
Now, again, you have to consider what you just said. where he was, in a lot of supporting roles. This one he actually is the leading guy in, but it's not going to win any sort of best picture. But I think for Kevin Bacon, it's something that when you look back at his career, this is something I think he should be proud of, even though the concept may be a little bit hokey.
Okay.
I went with Tremors.
I knew you were going to pick that one, Chad. All right.
Now, I'm guessing you don't have it.
I do not have that one. I do have it on an honorable mention list that we could go over after we're done. But,
right. Well, I
can see that one.
I may have to fight for that one.
You might have to.
This one, I have so many fond memories of this one because when we first got TV, cable in the mid 90s, and I would watch on the weekend, summer, it would be like USA Network. And I remember seeing this dang movie with these dang worms in the ground.
Yeah.
And that is what Tremors is, a 1990 sort of a monster horror slash satirical thing, sci-fi, a lot of sci-fi elements in it. But Kevin Bacon is a handyman in a small desert town of Nevada. Played his name is Val McKee, and they are the residents trying to confront giant subterranean worms dubbed graboids.
Yeah.
This one again, the movie is never going to be win any best pictures, but this thing has also, now I'm not telling people to go out and watch all the Tremor movies, but it's got at least 6 spinoffs. I don't think Bacon was in any of them besides the first one. Some of the people who were in the first one did kind of reprise their roles in the second, third, and fourth ones. So it's one of those series that probably has gone on way too long. But to me, the first one is the best, and Kevin Bacon should be known for that role. It's just one of those, like I said, high sci-fi kind of, suspend your disbelief kind of things. But the way, seeing them in the desert and on top of roofs, trying to avoid getting eaten and trying to come up with a plan to get them out of town was just,
it's like they're like pole vaulting from like boulder to boulder so they don't touch the ground.
And again, I thought you have to look at his whole, I looked at his whole filmography, but I said, this one has to go. So all right, we may have to debate this one, but and you have any memories of Tremors you want to mention?
Yeah, I've watched it a few times off and on throughout the years. I thought it's a pretty entertaining movie, but yeah, like you said, it's not going to win any major awards or anything. But it's a fun movie, and I do think they kind of play it during that AMC Plus Fear Fest once in a while when Halloween rolls around. So I always enjoyed it when I've seen it.
Yeah, you could throw it in as a Halloween flick if you want. To me, it's always going to be a summer break flick for me because of being home from school, watching USA Network in the early 90s. Yeah. Again, just seeing these worms coming out of the ground and stuff.
Right.
It had the dad from Family Ties.
Yeah.
It also had
Gross. Yeah.
Yeah. He's married to Reba McEntire, and they're like these scientists who are trying to study them, and they're also like these this couple that lives off the grid. Survivalist kind of thing. But Kevin Bacon is the lead guy there. So, well, that would be one of my choices. Let's go to your next choice. What you going to put up there?
All right. So my second pick is going to come from 1994. Now, Kevin Bacon, like you said, he can play all different kind of roles, like funny, happy, whatever. But some of my favorite roles is when Kevin Bacon plays a villain. He makes a really good villain in some of these movies. It's like I said, my movie's coming from 1994, and this is called The River Wild.
Like you in the last pick, it's a strong honorable mention for me, but go ahead and talk about it, because this is definitely a really cool film.
Yeah. Rotten Tomato critic score, 64%. Fan score of only 52%. Yeah. So the critics liked it more than the audience, but whatever. So a fast-paced thriller in which a young family on a whitewater rafting adventure in Montana are taken hostage by a pair of dangerous fugitives. The rafting holiday, a birthday gift for the New England couple, played by Meryl Streep in David Strathairn. I don't know how to say his last name, but if it's a guy, it's one of those actors. If you see him, you know who it is.
Yeah.
So a birthday gift for a New England couple's 10-year-old son turns into a nightmare when two armed killers, Kevin Bacon and John C. Riley. Now, normally you see him in comedic roles.
Yeah, Step Brothers, right?
Step Brothers, yeah. Two armed killers take control and try to force the mother, a proficient rafter, to use her skills to help them escape down the treacherous rapids. So yeah, man, this movie, I think it's more maybe one of his underrated movies, but yeah, I really like it a lot, and it's one that I haven't revisited in a while that I'm gonna have to watch. But that's my second pick.
I'm gonna so I'll tell you, man, this came very close to beating out the four that I chose.
Okay,
I had to leave it off, but it was hard because here's the thing. So there's not a whole lot of films that are in the whitewater rafting genre,
right.
and Kevin Bacon actually has two.
I was just gonna say that, and the other one's on my honorable mention
Yeah, it's
called
Whitewater Summer.
Whitewater Summer.
Yeah, with Sean Astin, Rudy.
Sean asked, yeah.
Yeah, now he's not the bad guy, I don't think, in that one.
Well, yeah, he kind of is
Is he?
he kind of is a bad guy in the
Okay.
movie. Yeah.
Okay. I've seen River Wild, and I thought Kevin Bacon was fantastic in it, even
Yeah.
though again it's one of those films that, isn't gonna be on the Academy's radar. But
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to consider bumping something off if you got River Wild. So
Okay.
all right. Well, cool, man. We've got a few of them there. We got one as a lock. All right,
Yep.
let me give you my next pick
All
now.
right. We're on to our third picks, right?
Yeah, man. And
Okay.
this next pick, it's almost a little bit of a sentimental pick because when this film came out, it was right around the time me and my friends in high school, we had just gotten DVD players. We
Mm.
we went to Circuit City, and one of us bought a set top box, like a DVD player, and then the very next day the next friend got one, and we all had to buy them. And then, coming from the VHS world where you just got the movie, the DVD had, you got the box, you had the special features, you had the scene selection, sometimes you had a 2 disc, sometimes you
Yeah.
had the Criterion collection, you had all these different gimmicks for the movies. So
Right.
this movie is one that somehow I picked up when I got my DVD player, and I think it's from about 2000, so I'm still in high school. I just think the premise is awesome, even though it's
Okay.
not going to be on anybody's 5-star movies here. Mine is Hollow Man.
Ah. Okay.
Now, I'm
That was
thinking that didn't make your list.
it did not, but that was a movie I did consider putting that on there, but then ultimately I did not. But yeah, I do enjoy that movie.
I friggin' love this movie. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of like the whole concept of invisibility,
Right.
and it's like the scientists they're testing the invisibility on something, and then all of a sudden he decides to inject himself with it.
Yeah.
It's
And of
got
course
a
he doesn't use it for good.
Yeah, he ends up like being a rapist.
Yeah, and like a creep.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
play.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you
No, no,
off.
no, no. I was gonna say it anyway, but
Okay.
Elizabeth Shue is in this, which she,
Oh,
even in
yeah.
2000, man,
Oh
she
man.
was right on.
Oh yeah. Don't yeah.
And that's maybe that's where my liking of this movie is, because in the film,
Hey.
yeah, he sneaks into her bedroom. Um,
Yeah.
it's also got Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
He's like the love interest
Right.
of Elizabeth Shue, and um, it's just got a really, again, sci-fi is sort of the name here. It's very very elements of sci-fi and horror.
Yeah.
Um, but it was just great to see him as like a dude that kind of just, got the wrong idea and
Yes.
just took it to another level. Again, it had a sequel, Hollow Man 2. I probably don't recommend that. um
I've never
yeah.
seen it.
These Kevin Bacon spinoffs just prove to be
Yeah.
duds. But anyway, 2000 was the year this was released. And I don't have a whole lot of information about it. It's just again the special effects are just fantastic and the way they shot it. And again, for me, it's probably a little bit of a sentimental pick because this was one of the
Okay.
movies I got when the DVD player came
Yeah.
into my life. So,
I
uh,
do remember seeing that in theaters.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think maybe I was at the right age and just something cool. Maybe you probably have similar experience. Maybe when you were in high school, that certain movie, the timing of it, even though it's not one of Hollywood's top, you would think, oh man, it's one of my faves.
Right. Yeah. Well,
All
that's a
right.
good pick, and that's kind of like you said when CGI was starting to come to the forefront a little bit in movies, and people were dabbling in that. And
Yeah,
yeah, I think for the time it was pretty good, the
yeah.
special effects.
Well, that one I may have a tough time getting that up there, especially
Yeah.
with the picks you've already said. So, why don't you hit us with your next pick?
All right, my third pick. We're going to go into the supernatural thriller genre, and this is coming from 1999, and it is called Stir of Echoes. Have you heard of this movie?
Yeah, my wife.
Okay.
When I was talking to my wife a couple of days ago, I was like, I'm doing some research on the pod, so
Yeah.
she mentioned Stir of Echoes. It's I've seen it. It's just one of her. She likes it. It's not on my list, but yeah, go ahead and discuss.
Okay. It has a 70% critic and 70% fan, so it's even across the board there on Rotten Tomatoes. Blue collar family man Tom Witzke, played by Kevin Bacon, scoffs at supernatural phenomena until he lets his wife's sister, Lisa, put him into a hypnotic trance. Upon waking, Tom realizes he has a psychic connection with his son, Jake. He also has alarming hallucinations of a missing teenage neighbor named Samantha. Tom, convinced his visions will lead him to the girl, begins a desperate search that puts him into a life threatening situation. So, yeah, man, you got some supernatural, you got a suspense thriller movie all in one. And yeah, I did see this movie in theaters with my wife. Yeah, she really likes this one as well. And like you said, when I was telling her that I was trying to pick a Mount Rushmore, she was like, "Do you have that one on there?" And I was like, "Yeah, I put it on there." So yeah, I really like the movie, and it's another one that I haven't watched in a while, but it's always stuck with me. So yeah, that's my pick.
That's a good pick, and it was right in that era where you had the I wouldn't say it's exactly the same, but like you had I Know What You Did Last Summer,
Yeah,
Blair Witch. You kind of had that sort of element. It's not
yeah,
truly a gore kind of movie,
no,
but it's more suspense and thriller, but with definitely some mystery. So yeah,
yeah,
good pick, man.
all
I've
right,
seen it, and it's not one of my faves, but definitely strong contender.
okay,
Okay.
all right,
All right, I'm gonna go with my last pick. So, because you chose Footloose, that means that I only have one more pick here. Um,
right.
my pick, I just watched it for the first time last night, and holy crap. Was this movie at? No one told me about this thing. My my choice for Mount Rushmore is I believe 2003 Mystic River.
Ah, all right.
Not on your list?
Not on my list. I considered it, but yeah, my oldest daughter mentioned that movie too when we were talking about this. But yeah, I didn't put it on there.
Well, there goes you were right on your prediction. We did only match on one.
That's right.
So this one, Kevin Bacon is not the main actor like in most cases. This one has Sean Penn. He won an Academy Award Best Actor,
Yeah.
and also supporting actor Tim Robbins.
Yeah.
He won Best Supporting Actor that same year. So the Academies thought so much of this movie. Now, it didn't win Best Picture, but it did win Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor.
Right.
Directed by the great Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Dude, this one is a mind bender here in terms of like what you think is going to happen, and then at the end the sort of twist. It's excellent. It's got a lot of people in it, but Kevin Bacon, focusing on him, he plays it like a detective. trying to investigate the murder of Sean Penn's daughter.
Yeah.
And, in between, there's these little mixed up woven storylines. Even Kevin Bacon has issues, marital issues going on during the film and stuff. But the film was nominated for 6 awards. I think Bacon does an incredible job. I mean, like I said, he was with some pretty incredible cast, so
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
not even here on the poster. He's the third person mentioned.
Right.
But I just think it's awesome. Have you seen Mystic River?
I have seen it, but man, it's been a while, and I think I've only seen it maybe once or twice. And yeah, it's a great movie. It just one that, like you said, because he wasn't the
Yeah.
main actor is why I didn't put it on there. But yeah, still a great movie, and I mean still does play a big part in the movie, so I can see why you put it up there.
Yeah, that's I mean, he's had a lot of supporting roles and stuff, and
Yeah,
maybe being the actor, number 2 actor, number 3 actor, and this one I
right.
thought was his pretty strongest one. Now I gotta say, there's some films that I have not seen, but I know the name. So yeah, let's get with your final pick. What do you got up there on Rushmore?
All right, my final pick is kind of a newer movie. It's about 11 years old now already. From 2015. It has an 82% critic score only a 53% fan score, and this is called Cop Car. Have
Okay.
you heard of this movie? Have you heard
I
of it?
I saw it in his filmography, but I don't have any
Okay.
recollection.
Now, this one is one that I just recently watched as well for doing some research. Um, Basically, it's two mischievous boys stumble upon a seemingly abandoned police cruiser and steal it, unaware that its murderous owner, Kevin Bacon, has stashed a hostage in the trunk. So, pretty much, Kevin Bacon plays a crooked sheriff, and he's got two brothers stashed in the trunk of this car. One is already dead, and the other one is still alive. Well, he dumps the one body of the criminal that has already died. And when he comes back to find his cruiser, it's gone because these two 10-year-old boys have stolen it. And then basically the rest of the movie is just him trying to get to the boys to find the car so he can cover up, everything that he's done. And eventually people end up dead, and the boys kind of still have the car at the end of the movie. So I mean, it's only about an hour and a half. It's pretty good. This one, I don't know if we're going to be able to keep it on there, but it was one that I just recently watched, and I thought it was good enough to throw up there. But we'll see how we figure things out here soon.
Yeah, yeah, we got some debating to do.
We do.
Um, Now, let's talk about some honorable mentions, and let's just
Okay.
see if anything there might, sneak up and be a contender. One thing I did another movie that I just watched. I don't know if it was on your list or not, but just watched it this weekend for the first time. It's a supporting role, but I kind of liked it. A Few Good Men.
Oh, that's on my honorable mentions. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. That's
yeah,
yeah, like I said, I would have put that one on there if he would have been like say in the Tom Cruise role, but he does play the other attorney, the Marine attorney, but
yeah,
yeah, quite not a lead role, so that's why I left that off.
yeah. I mean, when you got Cruise and then Nicholson in that
Oh,
film,
Demi Moore's in there.
Demi Moore, yeah, man.
Yeah,
He a star-studded one, and that one, I believe it got nominated for Academy. It didn't win Best Picture, but
right.
I think Jack Nicholson got nominated for
Yeah.
supporting. But yeah, I loved his role there.
Yeah.
What else is on your honorable mention list?
Well, the one we mentioned before, Whitewater Summer.
Hmm.
I did have Tremors on my honorable mention. And then there's a couple more here. There's a movie from 1990 called Flatliners.
Okay.
He's in there with Julia Roberts and Kiefer Sutherland. They try to see what's beyond death. They try to have themselves put on a medical table and have them die so they can see what's in the afterlife, and then they try to bring them back to life. It's not a bad movie. And
Yeah,
then the other one I have is Apollo 13.
I
But of
had it
course,
too.
he's in there with Tom Hanks and Gary Sinise.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Both coming off of Forrest Gump,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. That's
So
hard. That's hard to beat. Yeah,
yeah, but he was great in the role, man. He was one of the astronauts that went up there.
yeah, yep. And I
It was
think
that was on my list.
is Bill Paxton in that movie? I think as well.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a couple ones that I didn't even, some of these I've seen, some of them I haven't. He was also a supporting actor in JFK, the movie JFK.
Oh, okay.
There was he also has a very brief appearance. I don't know if you remember this in Planes, Trains and Automobiles.
Yes, my daughter said that this morning. Yeah, he's in
Yeah.
it for about a minute. We're
Yeah,
racing against Steve Martin to get
he's
to
a
the
taxi.
cab.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah,
he that was already after Footloose, so he was I
yeah,
guess it was almost just a favor for the
right.
director or something. Because
Yeah,
he's not very in there very much. And of course, again, it is like the story of Kevin Bacon, right? Every film he's in, there's like two people. Like in that movie, you got Candy and you got Martin. You
yeah,
know,
man. Jeez. Yeah,
so maybe it's by design. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I'm sure, he could have, if he had maybe the right agent, he could have gotten some more prominent roles, but maybe he
Yeah,
was, he seems very content. I don't want to knock it sound like I'm critiquing him, but he's got a great career. I mean, we've never really done a deep dive on one specific person. I mean, we did do Sylvester and Arnold, of course,
yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah, man. Another one that I wanted to mention, um, like I said, we talked about Friday the 13th.
yeah.
He was also in a movie called Wild Things with Nev
Oh
Campbell
gosh.
and
Hey, hey,
yeah,
Matt Dillon. Yeah,
yeah,
Nev Campbell and Denise Richardson.
yeah, very
Ooh,
notorious for late
man.
90s what you
Oh,
saw from that movie. Um, there was also I've heard some good things about it. I haven't seen it. It's called The Woodsman.
ah, yes.
It's a
That.
relatively newer one
Yeah.
for his thing. Also one called Murder in the First. Uh,
Oh, that man, that movie came on HBO a lot, and I would watch that one quite often. It has him and Christian Slater
is that
are
who
in
it
that,
is?
right? He's
Or
a prisoner on Alcatraz Island.
yeah, right. Christian Slater and yep,
Yeah,
Alcatraz. You're right. Yep.
yeah, yeah.
There
That's
was
a pretty
also
good movie.
I think this is kind of a sad one. It was My Dog Skip.
Oh gosh, yeah,
You
I
know,
forgot about that one.
yeah. Um, like a comedy drama there.
Yeah,
Um, I kept seeing people talk about his appearance in he appeared as himself in
he was in a Marvel
that
holiday special, Guardians
yes.
of the Galaxy
Yes.
holiday special.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking about. I went
that was
down,
actually pretty entertaining, man.
was it?
Yeah.
I wanted to mention it because I remember that was over on Reddit people were saying you can't forget
Yes.
that. Yeah.
No.
So he was in Patriots Day. It was about the Boston
Oh, the Boston
massacre,
Marathon. Yeah.
the bombing. Um, so I mean, we've only touched. I mean, he has tons more. One called Death Sentence in 2007. I heard was
Okay.
pretty good.
And
So
then Chad, there's one I wanted to mention. It's not a movie, but he had a show on Fox from 2013 to 2015 called The Following, which was pretty good, where he plays a detective trying to track down a serial killer.
yeah,
That was a pretty good show. Yeah.
okay,
Not a movie, but I thought
yeah,
I'd mention it.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And we talked about his kind of one of his early roles is in Friday the 13th as one of the horny teens, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, Ken, I guess so so what do we
All
have? We
right.
got Footloose as a lock,
We got
and
Footloose,
then
and now the other three
we
we
got
got to come up with.
we got six to choose from, and we got to narrow it down to three, right?
Yep.
Well,
Got to
listen, I'm gonna
turn
go.
six into.
If I had to, I think maybe the way we handle this is, if you had to pick any of the three that I chose, Hollow Man, Tremors, and Mystic River, what would you put on there?
I think I would probably definitely put Mystic River on there.
Okay. Out of yours, because I wanted to do this, I would put River Wild. So
Okay.
would you say that if our next two should be Mystic River and River Wild? Remember, we got one more
Yeah.
after.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think those are pretty good picks.
Okay. Now that leaves we got four choices for one spot. Out of yours, you got Stir of Echoes and Cop Car. Out of mine, I got
Okay.
Tremors and Hollow Man. Which one will you fight for on yours? And I know which one I'll fight for on mine. And then
Well,
we'll kind of
the
narrow it
one
down to
out of
two.
my two picks that I had left, the one that I would probably fight for more would probably be Stir of Echoes.
I was thinking that just based off of the way you described it.
Yeah.
For me, you probably would guess. Well, which two would you think I would fight for out of Tremors and Hollow Man?
I think that you would probably lean more towards Tremors, I would
Yeah,
think.
yeah. So
Okay.
I think our decision is Tremors versus Stir of Echoes.
Yeah.
Now
Man.
it's tough. Now if we're talking about if we want to talk about representation on the list, you know,
I think that if you were to ask people what of those two movies would you know him more from, I think people would probably say Tremors. I think that's like one of those 90s cult classic movies.
yeah.
So, yeah. So I would probably give you
Okay.
Tremors over Stir of Echoes.
Okay.
I
Um,
mean, that's what I would think. If you were to ask people, do you know him more from this or that? I would think probably people would say Tremors.
yeah, I'm looking for a reason that I would put Stir of Echoes over. Now my wife would probably put it on, and your wife
Yeah,
would probably put it
she
on.
she would too. Yeah,
I think I say let's go for it, man, because I just think that Tremors, again, while it's not gonna win any box office film nominations, I still think for him and that kind of campiness, cheesiness, that.
yeah.
But then again, even but you said even like with Footloose, I don't think at the time people thought it was kind of corny and campy, but like looking back
No,
at it, you're like a town outlawed
yeah,
dancing,
yeah,
you know. But probably during that era, you probably it was more about
yeah.
the visual dancing and the music and the stuff. So I say, what do you think? We got Footloose, Tremors.
Footloose, Mystic River, River Wild, and Tremors. And all four of those movies are different genres. You got your Footloose, which is kind of like your 80s, kind of like not a musical, but kind of close to a musical, sort of. And then you got Mystic River, which is a big time drama.
I think if you got here's my thought is if you didn't have Mystic River, that would be the spot for like a suspense. So you had the Stir of Echoes might have
Right.
slipped into that. But to me, I mean, and Mystic River's got the backing of the award, the academies
Yeah.
and stuff. So
And that River Wild, you got not the supernatural, but that's a suspenseful thriller type movie.
yeah.
And then of course Tremors, you got your kind of 90s campy sci-fi movie in there. So I think it's a good mix.
Yeah, and I think, you need one of him. Kevin Bacon generally is like we talked about, he's in a supporting role. He's usually good guy. So I think you
Yeah,
need one with him as the bad guy. So I think River Wild is a perfect choice for that.
right.
Even though you could go with some other choices, I think he was a villainous in The Woodsman, I think. Uh,
Yeah,
there's just a lot of stuff I hadn't seen either. I mean,
right.
kind of wild that we do something on somebody that you don't have a complete history, but
Well,
nobody,
there's so
nobody,
many, so many.
yeah. I mean, like I said, 80 films. No
Yeah.
one's gonna have seen everything. But I kind of threw up a sort of a Hail Mary on the Hollow Man.
Yeah, well,
But it would belong on my personal favorites, but it doesn't belong on his Mount Rushmore.
sure,
So
sure.
Ken, repeat that one more time. Who do we got for the
All
Kevin
right, we
Bacon
got
Mount Rushmore?
the Kevin Bacon Mount Rushmore, according to the Retro Resurgence
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, very caveat
Foot,
there.
Footloose, Mystic River, The River Wild, and Tremors. There you have it.
Yeah, listeners, now it's your turn. If you're a Kevin Bacon fan, not even necessarily a fan, if you just know of him, and certainly there's got to be films that you've seen him in. Which ones should we have put on? Should we have
Yeah,
gone with Stir of Echoes?
yeah.
Should we have included one like Apollo 13? any Hollow Man fans out there, I'd love
Right.
to hear from
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Things like that. Let us know over there on Instagram. Ken, this was fun, man. Just
It
going
was.
back and forth. Not our usual. I kind of thought going in we would. I thought we'd match on three, and
Okay.
you must have had better insight than I did. But it's not unheard of that me and you match on quite a bit. So a
Right.
little different this show, but
Little
made
different, but it
for
was fun to debate the
yeah,
movies.
absolutely. So why don't we say we close the show and we'll tell
Yeah.
everybody what's going on in episode 46.
Yeah, episode 46. The next episode, we're going to stay in the movie realm. And
Your
man,
pick.
Chad, I've been looking forward to this one. It's my pick for
Yes,
next
sir.
episode. We are going to finally delve into the Rocky franchise and rank the 6 main Rocky movies. We're not going to go into the Creed stuff. We're just going to stay in the 6 main Rocky movies and rank them from 6 to 1. So that's going to be fun, I think.
Yeah, man. I am about halfway through my Rocky marathon. I
Okay.
started it during our summer break, and I got 1, 2, and 3 seen again, and got 4, 5, and Rocky Balboa, which is we're considering the sixth one.
Yeah. Yes.
Um, and yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. That one again, I'm very curious to. It's not necessarily a debate show because we're telling us each other what our favorites are, but
Yeah.
it is gonna be interesting to see if we match, at least on our
Yeah.
maybe our first one or two.
Yeah. And I think it's very timely because the 50th anniversary of Rocky is
Yep.
this November. So, yeah,
It's
man, you got the 50th anniversary. These movies, I'll just say it right now, this franchise is probably in my top 5. And I've seen all these movies at least probably 50 times each in the last 50 years. So I know these movies front and back
got it
pretty
out.
good,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, it's going to be fun to see where we rank them.
Yeah, and I think you might have had this scheduled earlier in the year, and for some reason we kind of pushed it. But
Yeah,
yeah, we're not pushing
you
it
could be
again.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely getting to it in episode 46, the
Yeah.
ranking the Rocky films, man. It's gonna be a
Oh,
good one.
I can't wait.
Well, Ken, man, let's we started the second half off with some Kevin Bacon, and
Yeah.
man, let's just see what the rest of 2026 has to offer. Fun show tonight.
Yeah, it was a fun show tonight. We knocked the rust off of our summer break and we're back into it. And yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Well, for Ken, I'm Chad. So long.
See you later.
Get up on your roof! The things! They're under the ground! They're bigger than we thought! They're huge! They're coming right after you guys! They're coming right now!
That's it for today's Retro Ride. Thanks for listening.
You can find us on all podcast platforms, including now YouTube. So follow the show and share it with somebody who loves nostalgia.
Got something retro you want us to cover? Or feedback in general? Message us on Instagram at The Retro Resurgence.
Or send us an email at theretroresurgence@gmail.com.
Finally, you can also find us on our website, www.theretroresurgence.com, or at our good friends, the Retro Network's website as well, www.theretronetwork.com.
Because the past isn't gone.
It's just waiting to be unlocked.
I'm Chad.
And I'm Ken.
Keep it retro. See you next time.
This has been a presentation of the Retro Network.